What's up, guys? It's your boy Swills here, and I'm doing a double upload. I actually just finished the first video, but I figured I'd make a second video today. This one's going to be covering something a bit different. It's going to be the NFL free agency, basically day one, whatever you want to call it. NFL, the new season hasn't officially started yet. That starts Wednesday as of right now. Of course, the virus could change things, but today was the first day that tampering is legal. And by tampering, I mean players are allowed to freely discuss contract negotiations with other teams they desire to go to. So, a lot of big news today. The big headline is DeAndre Hopkins. I would say he's definitely a top 3 receiver between him, Julio, and Michael Thomas. He went to the Arizona Cardinals in a blockbuster trade, although it's not really much of a blockbuster because he's the only big name in it, really. It's a bit more of a highway robbery, I would call it. The Arizona Cardinals got DeAndre Hopkins and I believe a 4th or 5th round pick from the Houston Texans for David Johnson, a running back from the Cardinals, and a 2nd round pick. The problem with that for the Texans is that they just lost one of the best wide receivers in the league. Arguably some of the best hands in NFL history when you take a look at some of the catches that he's made. He's a high percentage receiver, and he's really the only option, the only good, reliable option that Deshaun Watson had with other injuries to other receivers. David Johnson, though, what Houston's receiving is a bit older, had a lot of injury problems, and he's got a really, really, really high cap hit. I think it's like $11 million. And considering his production hasn't really been good since 2016, 2017, it's going to be a bit, it's more or less a salary dump. Houston must clearly be in some kind of rebuild process, even though they looked pretty good last year. All they needed to do was really work on their offensive line, maybe get some secondary help, maybe a linebacker or two, and they would have been right in the thick of the playoffs once again. But, clearly this was a terrible move by Bill O'Brien. If you're going to get rid of DeAndre Hopkins, I would expect at least a 1st round pick, if not 2. Maybe a 2nd on top of that, and David Johnson's whatever. Houston just keeps making stupid trades and free agent signings for running backs that just pan out to get 900 yards, 1,000 yards, and it's like whatever. Like none of them are impact players that are making a huge difference. David Johnson certainly has, I think, in my opinion, I think he has the ability to return to great form. He can be a 1,000-yard rusher. I just don't know if it's going to be that impactful in terms of them making the playoffs. This is just a terrible trade for Houston. I don't know what Bill O'Brien is doing. I don't know how he even got the GM position in the first place. Arizona got a steal. This is really good for them, although it's a very crowded division with the Rams, with the Seahawks, and with the 49ers all looking like really good, above 500 playoff contender teams. It's going to be tough for Arizona to really make a push, but with the extra team being added to the playoffs next season, perhaps they could end up making a good run with Kyler Murray. I expect the offense to be very good. They've got a lot of receivers now. They've got a good running back. Kenyon Drake just tagged him. Offensive line could use some help, but we'll see. And that's the trade. Arizona, I'm going to give Arizona an A+ for that trade. It's a steal. It's a steal. Complete steal. For Texans, I'm giving them an F. It's just pointless. You're rebuilding for no reason. You got a good cap. You can build. You can get new players, and you just choose not to. It's poor. It's poor from Texans. The second trade that I'm going to talk about, and if I run out of time to talk about free agents, we'll talk about free agents another one. This is just trades to start. It was between the Falcons, my team, the Atlanta Falcons, and the Baltimore Ravens. The Falcons traded a 4th round pick, and is it a 4th? Maybe it's a 5th. I think it's a 5th and a 2nd. By the way, that's the Patriots' 2nd round pick, so it's a lower 2nd round pick, almost a 3rd round pick. A 5th and a 2nd in exchange for tight end Hayden Hurst and a 4th round pick. Now, what do I think about it as a Falcons fan? I think it's a decent deal. I think it's a little bit odd. The Falcons have a lot of holes to fill in the defense and on the offensive line as well. And they just lost Justin Hardy, a 3rd wide receiver, so they need a 3rd wide receiver as well. And the offensive line, there's so many needs that the Falcons have. They did need a tight end. Hooper went off in free agency. They were never going to be able to afford him. Hurst has a very high ceiling. It's a low risk, high reward, I think, for Atlanta. I'm just not sure a 2nd round pick was necessary. I don't know if they tried a 3rd. I would have probably went no higher than a 3rd, but personally, I think I think Hayden Hurst will be a great player for Atlanta. I think he'll probably get close to 700 yards, if not more. Atlanta loves their tight ends. Julio gets double covered often, makes great space over the middle for tight ends. He's good at catching. He's good at blocking. I think it's a good deal for Atlanta. They get for me, I think they get a B+ on that deal. Maybe they overpaid a slight bit, but it's the Ravens' third tight end, and he's a great player regardless. Just a first-round pick 2 years ago. I don't see much risk in that. And for Baltimore, you gotta give him an A. It's a third tight end who would be a first on a lot of teams. He's third level tight end. With Mark Andrews and was it Jack Boyle, Nick Boyle, something like that, some kind of Boyle, and they're fantastic. He's their third tight end. They don't need him, and so you get a second-round pick for him. Easy. DaCosta's been a fantastic GM for them so far. Continues to make deals, especially with Calais Campbell the other day. Fantastic. The final trade, I don't know how much time I'm going to have. I might run out of time here real quick. DeForest Buckner to the Colts. Terrible for the 49ers, in my opinion. They were going to have to pay him. I understand that, and it would have been really bad for their cap situation in the future, but I prefer him very much to Eric Armstead. I would have traded away Eric Armstead and kept DeForest Buckner. I think DeForest Buckner is a fantastic player. He's one of the best in the league. He's getting paid like it now with the Colts. The Colts, all they had to do was give up a first-round pick for him. That's the price you're going to pay for him. I have no problem with the Colts paying that for him. They're a team that is very much on the verge of playoffs. They've got plenty of cap to work with as well. They've made other signings like Jamie Collins. We'll get into that probably in the next video. But I mean, it's just the Colts are looking really good. And for the 49ers, I think it's a good deal. I just wish they would have done Eric Armstead instead in the trade, if that was possible. Because I think Buckner has way more upside, and he's younger as well. But the 49ers know what they're doing. They're not going to pull the Rams and sign all these great players to big contracts and then run out of money. The Rams, I made a video about the Rams potential cap troubles a couple months ago. If you want to go take a look at that video, because I think it's going to start playing out very soon. Rams are running out of cap. They signed all these star players, and now they're going to have issues where they're probably going to have to rebuild in a couple years because they're going to lose all their best players. But yeah, that's really it in terms of trades. I'm going to leave it there, though, because I don't know how much time before my phone runs out of space and it'll just cut off the video. That's the trades for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends. I love doing stuff about NFL, love doing stuff about sports. It's going to be a little bit tough to get stuff in now for the next couple months now that most sports have been basically shut down. But I love to talk about sports. I want to start a podcast. If any of you want to start a podcast with me, let me know. But yeah, definitely subscribe, comment, like, 75 subscriber giveaway. Make it happen, all right? I hope you enjoyed the video. I love to talk about NFL. We'll do more, probably more free agency stuff, moving away from trades in the next video. We'll do that tomorrow so we can get more people from more deals from tomorrow, including today. It's a bunch of mess I'm talking about right now. I'm waffling. Thank you for watching. Peace out.